Welcome to The Terrible Take, a mini podcast telling Steelers Nation what's on our mind. I'm Dave Bryan. You probably don't need to be reminded just how bad the Pittsburgh Steelers running game was in 2020. Even so, I'm going to do some reminding anyway. On top of the team's offense ranking last in the NFL in 2020 in both rushing yards per game and average yards per carry, they were also last in runs of 10 yards or longer. Why throw that last nugget in there about 10 yards or longer runs? To prove a little bit of a point, really. While the Steelers were last in the NFL in runs of 10 yards or longer in 2020, you might be surprised to know that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers finished second to last in that stat. Yes, the same 2020 Buccaneers team that wound up being Super Bowl champions. Now, throwing that ranking out there might lead one to believe that the Buccaneers' running game wasn't great in 2020, but that's really far from the truth. The same goes for the Buccaneers being ranked 28th in the NFL in rushing yards per game in 2020 and 25th overall in rushing yards per attempt. On the surface, those rankings stink, but overall, the Buccaneers' running game was adequate and just above average. In total, the Buccaneers had an old-school successful run rate in 2020 of around 52.9% during the regular season, which was 0.8% better than the league's average, according to Sharp Football Stats. The Buccaneers' running backs were even slightly better as a group, as that unit finished 2.8% above the league average for that position league-wide in success rate. The Steelers' rushing game from a success rate standpoint wasn't even close to the Buccaneers, as they were 45.2% as a team, with the running backs coming in slightly better at 45.7%. Could the Buccaneers' offense have benefited more from more 10-plus yards run in 2020? Absolutely, and that's obvious. The key point, however, is to make sure the success rate on runs are where they are supposed to be first. Quite honestly, it's hard to imagine the Steelers' running game being worse in 2021 than it was in 2020, and that's even with a few unproven players now being starters on the offensive line and with a rookie running back running behind that unit. Now, while a good chunk of this terrible take has been used to slightly downplay the overall significance of runs of 10 yards or longer, that's not the overall point. I was just trying to point out that runs of 10 yards or longer don't tell the entire story. Speaking of 10-yard or longer runs to close out this terrible take, 25.2% of all of Najee Harris' runs in college resulted in gains of 10 yards or longer. Last season in the NFL, there were 6 running backs that registered 30 or more runs that resulted in gains of at least 10 yards, and 2 of them, Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs, like Harris, hail from the University of Alabama. In short, I would expect Harris to hit at least 30 such runs during his rookie season, and for the Steelers' run success rate for the 2021 season to at least be 50% or greater, and leave the offense ranked in the middle of the pack or better league-wide. Be sure to follow us at SteelersDepot.com and check out episodes of The Terrible Take every weekday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And check out The Terrible Podcast with myself and Alex Kozora every Tuesday and Friday.